Hey, this is Steve in Dallas, Texas. It's Saturday morning, my friend, and you are listening to Light Talk.
Coming to you from a very rainy and chilly New York City, this is Dennis. And on this edition of Light Talk, we discuss our friend, the mirror ball, references, production remount worries, and a PSA from no more 10 out of 12s, all on Light Talk.
And this is David coming to you from the beautiful, sunny, warm Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California. If you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers. And no sister today.
Sisterless today.
We're unisex today.
She's putting it all on red in Vegas.
I heard that she was strewing roses down the main streets in preparation for the Light Talk and the Lumen Brothers to arrive.
We are arriving, and Snoot will be with us to keep us out of jail. So, Dennis, you can bring whatever protection you want. Okay, Snoot is there. Vegas, boy, all week long they've been having these crazy sort of training sessions, and to me, that is the greatest deal in town. I hope people took advantage of that because, you know, for the small amount of money that it costs, I know for some people it's a lot more, but still, you can't buy that type of access and that type of training any cheaper than that. And you get to meet people. It's just a fantastic thing for your career. And also, obviously, we're going to push the portfolio review, which I believe is happening today. And then tomorrow, Sunday, 12:30 p.m. in the podcast studio, you've got the whole Lumen family there. We're all going to be there. Snoot's going to be there. Dennis, Steve's going to be there. Brackley's going to be there. Zach's going to be there. Ellen's probably going to be there if she's not putting out some other fire that's going on somewhere else. And we're all going to have a great time.
Ken Billington's going to be there. He's going to be standing in the back looking at Christmas ornaments, trying to take another one without anyone realizing he's taking it because he's so embarrassed to have it.
Everyone wants our blue balls. And I'm going to give you a hint right now. There will be more balls. More balls. So if you missed out on the balls, you get some more balls. And we've got other swag. Yeah, we got so much swag, even my brothers and sisters don't know about it. So we're bringing it, and we hope that you enjoy it. We even have some limited edition swag. So I found it in the basement. So got some limited edition swag. We're going to be giving all this shit away. So enjoy. Come join us. It's always a good time. It'll be about 45 minutes long. 12:30 to about 1:30, and just in time to go out and start drinking again.
Yeah, that whole box of PRG T-shirts that was delivered to the wrong room.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be giving those away.
The PRG T-shirts, right. I forgot about those. So, yeah, so we hope you're having a great time. If you got here early, we're going to be flying out in the next, the next day.
We flew out yesterday.
I didn't. I'm flying out tomorrow morning. Believe it or not, I have a gig tonight here in L.A., and then I'm flying out at 8 in the morning. Snoot and I, we're taking sort of a early morning flight. It's only like an hour flight from Long Beach. So we should have a good time. So please come see the show tomorrow.
Let me ask Dennis a question. Aren't you splitting your time between Light Talk and something else at LDI? Aren't you doing something there?
Well, now that you mention, you know, I wanted to say when David was doing his little spiel, we should really video this because I'm telling you, saw him, Steve. The gesticulations, the jumping around, the waving of the hands in the air. He reminded me of the old Crazy Eddie commercials with that guy that was trying to sell TVs to everybody.
I've got
There's
a phone
TikTok
for
video
you.
there.
That's right.
I've got a phone for you. Buy this phone. You see it? It's working. It works.
But since you mentioned it, I guess I'm doing the pregame show for Light Talk at 10:30 a.m. I'm going to be doing a presentation at the LD Innovation Conference in room W312. And that's going to be on the lighting of the new studios for Good Morning America. And that's same Sunday, December 7th, 10:30 in room 312. Then you have to run, not walk, to room W205. That's the podcast room that the big show's taking place in.
It's a really big show.
That's the one with Jimmy Page?
My assistant designer from Good Morning America, I should mention, Sloan Kolsar, is going to be with me doing the presentation, and he's frantically preparing a wonderful PowerPoint presentation of all the light plots and the scenic renderings, and you get the extra chance to hear me ramble on crazily for a half hour.
And then you can drink heavily and come see our show because you'll need it.
That's right. When I'm running to the podcast studio, everybody join me, and we'll stop at the bar.
Yeah, stop at the Circle Bar.
Yeah, it's like being at the airport trying to connect in New Orleans. You get off the airplane, you run real fast, you get a margarita, then you run real fast to your next terminal.
There you go.
This is like the 8th year we've done this. 7th year, 8th year, I don't know, that we've actually done an LDI show. It's been a long time.
And LDI has survived.
I didn't realize you guys were broadcasting live that many years. I thought it was only like 4 years.
No,
5 years.
no. It's like 6 or 7 years. It's a long
Wow.
time. We've been doing this for a long time. So we know what we're doing. That's going to be a very similar format as the past, where we take questions from the audience, and every audience member who actually submits a question, they get a special prize. First of all, everyone, all you have to do is submit a question, and you get some swag. You don't get any swag if you don't submit a question. So there you go. You write it down, and we drop it into a stolen ice bucket from the Westgate Hotel. And if we choose your question, you get another prize. And there'll be like 6 or 7 questions, something like that are chosen. And then at the end of the show, we actually award the grand prize to one of the 6 people whose questions were actually read. So that's how it works. It's very simple. We have a sponsor who's like paying for all of our travel expenses. And I think Ellen is like, doesn't she have like a keg that's coming for everyone? Like a keg of beer? I think there's beer.
For everybody in the room gets their own keg.
Brings a keg and with Frankfurters. We got some Backstage Franks from 7 years ago. They were old then and they're older now.
Every expense was spared.
Where are you from? Frankfurters. We call those wieners in Texas, and we turn them into hot dogs.
I'm from New York. New York is Frankfurters, right?
Frankfurters.
With
you probably put
sauerkraut.
Okay,
we put sauerkraut and mustard. That's it. No catsup. No catsup on a damn hot dog.
Yeah, you say that now.
No catsup.
I've seen the ketchup stains on your shirts.
No. That's not from a hot dog. I'll do that right now. All right, so let's move on. We about ready to move on and start answering questions? Dennis,
we probably
you got the first question, and I can't wait for this one because I've actually read this question. I think it's a very interesting question.
Eric from Pennsylvania writes in, for my final BFA project, I designed the lighting for a successful production of a new play that was mounted in a large proscenium house, directed by a guest director who works in the professional theater. He is now remounting the play at a small regional theater, but on an arena stage. I'm happy to say I've been asked to serve as the lighting designer for the remount, but I've never worked in an arena theater, and I'm nervous about recreating a successful lighting design. Can you provide some advice and a path to follow? I love this question only because when I was doing my MFA at Penn State, I did about 5 shows in what's called the Pavilion Theater, which is their arena theater of the 4 theaters on the Penn State University campus. And the Pavilion Theater used to be a cow auctioning barn until the theater department took it over sometime in the 50s. But I loved doing shows there and really had developed a knack for the arena surround. And even now, it applies to a lot of the work I do in broadcast television, because we do so many town halls and political events and even debates in arena stadiums. So it's an important skill set to really know. The best advice for Eric, though, is get a site survey of the space in advance if you can. I'm kind of weird in that, especially when I'm doing a theatrical production, I like to feel the vibe of a space. I'll often sit in various positions around the theater for quite a while. And one time an assistant said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm letting the space talk to me." And he looked at me strangely and walked away. But I feel that every space is unique and has a life and a history of its own that you need to embrace. And the reason I like to do that in arena theaters is it's an environment that's like a mother's womb. It encircles the audience and keeps everybody safe and as a living thing, watching the playwright's story unfold. And because you're seeing not only the play and the audience and the theater behind the audience, it's important to involve the entire space, the arena, the architecture, and everything else. That being said, assuming the director wants to keep the same artistic and conceptual themes that were used in the proscenium production, you'll need to find a way to incorporate and recreate those concepts in presenting the play to the audience. For example, the colors, the quality of light, all the emotional, dramatic aesthetics of your original design should be employed and maintained, but you need to work within the geometry and the infrastructure of the new architecture. There will obviously power and rigging limitations. In adapting the design, you'll probably have to select maybe smaller lighting fixtures, adjusting for beam spreads and throw distances of an arena. And one of the nice things that, again, I don't know the type of space in the regional theater you're going to, but ideally there's going to be an existing complement of fixtures that's normally used, and that fixture package can provide the guidelines for you of the fixtures that you need. But in adjusting the design to fit the smaller space, you'll probably need to reconfigure the hanging points and adding pipe and rigging to custom mount for what your lighting plot requires. A lot of the technical things, don't even worry about it. You'll figure that out as you're doing it. The biggest issue is to adapt to an entirely new point of view. In the proscenium house, as you well know, lighting is always very presentational, with the audience sitting on one side of the arch and they're all facing the stage. Whereas in the arena, the audience is encircling the playing area, completely surrounding the actors. As I said earlier, much like mother's womb. The actors are going to be continually turning and moving, presenting the play. You need to make sure the lighting enhances that. So to that end, the geometry of the light hang is going to encircle the playing area. And what I often do is divide the staging areas into multiple acting areas that I try and triangulate the light from 3 different angles. Sometimes 4 different angles, depending on how it's blocked and how evenly you need the actors to be lit. If I'm doing a broadcast, a televised broadcast in an arena theater or a stadium arena, I often will light it from 6 or 7 different angles, because you'll have a steady cam that's wandering all over the place, and you never know where the anchors or the on-camera talent are looking. But you'll need a minimum of 3 different angles, and as I said, sometimes 4 for each of the areas you set up. Then you can also increase or decrease the dramatic quality with either steeper or shallower angles. But keep in mind, depending on where the audience is sitting, you need to keep those beams of light out of the eyes of the audience. The biggest challenge will be keeping the audience from being part of the cast, part of the show. Although sometimes directors will want to have the audience actually involved and be part of the action, so it's almost an immersive experience. I recently saw, maybe 8 or 9 months ago, one of my favorite theaters on Broadway is Circle in the Square, and they had a wonderful production of Enemy of the People. And throughout the entire show, the director involved the audience in various aspects of the play as it unfolds. And even during intermission, the stage crew brought a bar out on stage, and they served a beer and alcohol to the audience who came up on stage and were part of the actual stage set. So sometimes you want to be a part of it all. I think I covered everything. Did I miss anything, Steve, that you might have?
No, I think that was pretty accurate. I think the thing that you have to keep in mind is to keep the echo of the play alive. Whatever you and the director wanted to originally do, I do a lot of work in dance. And, if I'm at the Joyce in New York, I've got, I don't know, 250, 300 lights. If I'm on tour, I might have 50. I don't relight the piece. I don't reconceive the piece. I try to put on stage the feeling of the piece. So that wonderful silhouette that you had on the proscenium arch stage, that ain't going to happen in an arena. But that doesn't mean that you can't have the feeling of what that silhouette was. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be fun. I think I'd much rather work in an arena or a thrust. What about you, David?
I grew up in arena theaters, but and thrust. Actually, my undergraduate, we only had one stage, and it was a thrust. And it really taught me how to be a lighting designer, because doing things in proscenium was so easy after that, because as Dennis explains so brilliantly, that you're only seeing it from one point of view, basically, from in a proscenium, where in arena you're seeing it from 360. And so I had to learn how to manipulate the atmosphere so that you get something dynamic and structural and dramatic, and still be able to see the faces of the actors, because that's really important, because you don't want a whole section of the audience just seeing a silhouette. So this question really brings up another important thing. If the show is being moved, hopefully you kept good records of the initial production. That includes like paperwork, focus charts, cue lists, videos, photos of each cue, photos of every moving light preset, things like that, which I do for every single show and have done. Even when I was in school, I would take photographs of every cue, because you never know when that show's going to move. Now, going from proscenium to arena, obviously things are going to change, but at least you'll have a really good idea and then accurate records of all those cues and what they did, and of course, how fast the transitions are and things like that. So make sure that you always keep good records. Even if you don't have an assistant, you need to do this. What do you guys think?
Thank you very much, David. That's the cherry on top of the ice cream. I can't believe I didn't even bring that up. You were 100% correct.
But getting back, have you guys ever get flashbacks? Now, we're both all children of the 60s, right? I don't know how many drugs you guys did. We're not getting into that. But all I can tell you is every now and then I get flashbacks. And Dennis, your explanation and your analogy of the womb brought a flashback to me. Because when I was in my mother's womb, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't find the birth canal because it wasn't well lit. So I needed you to light my mom's womb so that I could get out of there. No, that's when I became a lighting designer, right there.
Now these days, to solve a lot of those problems, doctors have cameras that they can insert into the vaginal canal.
And it's lit, well lit. I mean, we didn't have that. We needed candles and like flashlights. But they didn't have that.
I just don't know how they get that ETC Source 4 in there to light the baby properly.
Drone Focus Deluxe. I'm telling you guys, it's a little miniature drone in there to fly right up the birth canal and then says, "Hey, kid, you ready to come out?" Right? Maybe give you a little Mars bar or something like that.
I'd just like to say something right now. I don't know these people, so I don't know who they are.
We're your brothers. What are you talking about? You remember Mom's birth canal, don't you?
No.
You don't remember
I've never
the
heard
womb?
of you.
Oh, my God.
I've never heard of you.
He's disowning us. This is really
Oh,
awful.
Steve.
Right. This is
Damn straight, I'm disowning you.
And I've only been with you guys for 6 months now. How did you put up with him for 9 years, Steve?
All I have to say is, David, I think you have the next question.
Yes, thank God for that. Okay, so Rhonda from Huntington Beach asks, I was at the Clever Soul show last week to see David's band, me, David, and there was a mirror ball hanging above the stage. Why would any self-respecting lighting designer ever use a mirror ball? Okay, let's just start for Rhonda from Huntington Beach. Okay, Rhonda, Huntington Beach. Huntington Beach is Surf City, right, in California. Help me, Rhonda. 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 Get her out of my house. Okay, so, Rhonda, you're probably from my generation, which I'm really surprised that you didn't really connect that mirror ball, because if you remember, we were supporting a group called the Village People. And the Village People were a band that were put together in the 70s, actually quite brilliantly, during the disco era. I mean, the Village People, Greenwich Village, all right? Beautiful young men, right? Very sexy, very energetic, and very exciting. And therefore, there was a disco ball up there, or mirror ball, that symbolizes the time, okay? But A mirror ball can be much more useful than just a symbol. Again, we're talking about back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, all that stuff. But first, a short history of the mirror ball. The mirror ball originated in the late 19th century, with early versions appearing at an 1897 Electricians Union event. So it was the electricians who started disco back in the 1897. And that's something I didn't know. Okay. So they started disco. And you know why? How they discovered disco? Because someone was just tapping their foot at that disco beat. And then people got up and danced, right? So that's disco. That's how disco started. So Louis Bernard Wotze patented the first modern version, the Myriad Reflector, in 1917, and his company sold them to dance halls in the 1920s. The mirror ball's popularity exploded during the disco era of the 70s, and it has since become a lasting symbol of nightlife and celebration. Are there legitimate uses for a mirror ball? Absolutely. Back in the 70s, Theron Musser used them in her design of the musical ballroom, along with, believe it or not, color wheels. That was a big deal back then, color wheels, okay?
And it was a beautiful show.
It was an incredible show. It was absolutely. I met Theron back then, and she actually came to my graduate class at SMU. She showed us the light plot for ballroom and explained how it worked with the mirror balls and the color wheels. Really fascinating. And then all of us, color wheels, automated lights. Wow, that's really cool. This is way before automated lights, okay? Also, there's the famous Pink Floyd half mirror ball used in the early 1970s during the climax of Dark Side of the Moon, where they split it in half and it rotated like a clock. So it wasn't, rotating around like horizontally. It was like rotating clockwise. And when they hit it with like 3 super troopers, all of a sudden that light reflected out into the audience. And this 15-year-old boy who was having his own special flashbacks at the time was basically tumbling in space amongst the stars along with everyone else. It was the coolest effect anyone had ever seen. Again, long before moving lights, long before projectors. In the 1980s, our friend Mark Brickman used the world's largest mirror ball in the Pink Floyd's Division Bell Tour. It hung in the center of the arena, and it opened up at the climax of Comfortably Numb, revealing some pretty powerful arc lamps inside. It was about 20 feet wide. The pedals opened up, and it was just pretty amazing. Before moving lights and video, we used mirror balls, at least I used them, to do some projections and movement of snow. Right? So you get like a feeling of snow, a snowstorm. And sometimes, and Steve, I know you remember this, we would have a cylinder. It wasn't a ball, it was a cylinder. We'd put mirrors on the cylinder and it would rotate. And if you'd hit it with light, it would look like rain coming down. So yes, there are legitimate purposes for mirror balls. So there I go. Rest my case.
You forgot something, David.
What?
A couple of weeks ago, we had young Hannah Kerman on the show, who was the assistant designer for one of the top hit shows on television, Dancing with the Stars.
That's right. There's a mirror ball.
And they've taken mirror balls to a whole new level and they have that huge mirror ball right in the center of the dance floor. That's essentially the logo for the show.
There you go.
The one thing I don't understand, though, is the question itself. Self-respecting lighting designer?
I'd like to address that. All you have to do, it's on Amazon. You can click and get it. It's Bobby Danger's new book, and that is The Mirror Ball, A Misunderstood Resource. And once you read that book, I think it's like 9 pages long. I mean, you got it.
I think you should bring that book to the show tomorrow and read it to the audience.
I shamelessly, here's what I do with a mirror ball. I had a mirror ball, I don't know, it's a couple feet, not that big. But I was doing a children's theater show, and the director said, can we have dancing gingerbread men for the Can't Catch Me gingerbread boy moment in the show? I took a little cookie gobo and projected it at the mirror ball, and I mean the room was full of little cookie gingerbread men dancing around. It was a total kind of Hail Mary to see if it would work, and it was amazing. I wish I had videotape of it. People would have thought I was a genius at the time. What you can do with scissors and a pie pan.
We did a Halloween special talking about how outdoor Halloween decorations every Christmas, and this probably tomorrow or the next day I'll be setting up in my house. We have a tree outside that I put up probably 80 or 90 ornaments in the tree, and they're about 6 to 9 inches in diameter. But among the ornaments are about 9 small 6-inch mirror balls, and I light the tree from underneath. And when the wind is blowing, all those mirror balls are wiggling and dancing, and there's reflected light going all over the front yard in the house.
What I like, I always find it ironic. I go to graduation at the Meadows School of the Arts. Yes, I'm calling you out. I'm calling you out, Dean. And he ends the ceremony with a giant mirror ball. Sucker's got to be at least 4 feet. It flies in, the lights all hit it, and for the last, 10 years, we have listened to the Black Eyed Peas sing, "Tonight is going to be a good night." But the mirror ball never gets old. It never gets old.
I would prefer YMCA to "Tonight is going to be a good night." I'm sorry.
I'll bring that up.
Bring that up. YMCA is a much better song. It's much more, active. And
we could have a half a dozen songs that segue to each other, a little bit of everything.
Right, but I don't know. All right. So, hey, don't we have a public service announcement coming up? You are listening to Light Talk, and today Light Talk is sponsored by
a public service announcement from No More 10 out of 12s. Why a honey badger would make a great roadie. The honey badger is unflappable under pressure. Cue mishaps, lighting meltdown, the bass amp suddenly bursts into feedback. No problem. The honey badger doesn't panic, it adapts. Whether the stage manager's shouting or the pyro rig misfires, the honey badger just shrugs, grabs some gaffer's tape, and gets to work. The honey badger is a fearless enforcer of rules. The honey badger, as we know, has zero tolerance for sloppiness. Trucks late to load in, crew moving slow, someone trying to skip sound check. Let's just say the honey badger has motivational methods that get results. The honey badger will ensure every road case, cable, and crate is where it needs to be, on time and in order. Respectful when possible, intimidating when necessary. The honey badger has a tenacious work ethic. Roadies deal with 20-hour days, broken gear, unpredictable weather, and that one band member who keeps losing his in-ear monitors. The honey badger, it thrives on that grind. Tireless, focused, and utterly relentless. It won't stop until every bolt is tightened and every cable is perfectly coiled. Giving up simply isn't part of its DNA. The honey badger has legendary protective energy. Being a great roadie isn't just about logistics, it's about loyalty. The honey badger will guard the band, crew, and gear like a fortress. Drunken fans trying to sneak backstage? No. Random strangers near the mixing console giving advice? Not happening. And finally, the honey badger can handle anything. Thunderstorms, blaring subwoofers, all-night drives, and the 3 a.m. loadout. The honey badger lives for that mayhem. It's immune to stress, indifference to exhaustion, and completely unfazed by unpredictable conditions. Loud load-in, messy load-in, exhausting load-in, perfect. The honey badger calls that Tuesday. This has been a public service announcement from No More 10 out of 12s.
And now, back to Light Talk.
Well, the sound of those insane monkeys, iguanas, and ducks performing disturbing interspecies sex acts in the Light Talk jacuzzi means that once again it's time for Let's Talk About. And today's Let's Talk About is all about what new products do you hope to see when the LDI Expo floor opens tomorrow? Well, it's funny because at the show tomorrow, I would bet, I don't know if we're going to pick it, but there's at least one question in there saying, what do you like on the LDI floor? But unfortunately, we wouldn't know that until after the show. So we're going to turn it around on the show, on the day before our show. on this show on what we would like to see. And these are what we would hope to see. So I'm just going to lay it out to my brothers. You guys, what would you like to see?
It's been a while since I was at LDI. The last time I was there, I was excited about these new SCR dimmers.
Oh, my God. That was like 50 years ago.
It's about that.
I thought you were going to say saltwater dimmers.
The last time I was at LDI, they didn't have LED lights yet, so I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, my God. You're going to be blown away.
In all seriousness, I have to use the phrase size matters, and it's no pun intended. Despite popular opinion, and despite what you may think or Snoot may think, smaller is better. And that's something that I've been arguing with manufacturers for I don't know how many years now, because so much of what we're doing in television is being reduced and reduced and reduced to studios the size of a postage stamp. And even in the new Disney studios I did, the smallest moving lights that could satisfy the needs of profile shutters and essentially a moving Lico, you have like the Diablo or the Lone Star, but they're still too big. So smaller fixtures, especially with profile fixtures with shutters, are essential. Even in the standard ellipsoidal. I mean, you have ETC with the new Licos, and the number 3 that's out is huge. It's a monster. Meanwhile, Filex has much, much smaller Licos that fit into the smaller spaces for us. So I think that's really what I'm hoping to see. In addition to fixtures that can multitask and be convertible for variable uses, being able to work a Fresnel that becomes a Lico or a Lico that becomes a Fresnel, that sort of thing. So you have more multitasking going on. Interestingly enough, I was talking to one of our designers, Alex Kyle DePietropaulo, and one of the things that he's hoping to see when he's there are hybrid fixtures like floods that have narrower lensing or barn doors that work better, like a profile unit might, or even profile moving lights that have better diffusion choices, because it's always a problem on a lot of the TV broadcast productions. The movers just don't have enough diffusion. One of the things that Alex pointed out, the new fixture that was highlighted in Live Design Online a month or so ago, was the Megapix and the Gigapix fixtures that ETC has out. Incredible fixture that has Fresnel lenses, but the versatility of a pixel optical system. And it's got an incredible output of 10 to 14,000 lumens. Thing only weighs 20 pounds, and it's IP rated. You know, I'm looking forward to seeing that one myself. But it's very important to see fixtures that can be multitasked. I actually asked one of Ben Granucci, who's a programmer I work with a lot, what he would like to see. And one of the things that's always driving him crazy as a programmer going from studio to studio is he wants to see a remote-sized programming console that can be easily moved around with a small touchscreen built in. As he says, I need a Geo at 2 inches, something that has physical encoders, but it's not an iPad. Because so much of what they're doing in the studios now, they're having to wheel out a Geo all the time, and it's a royal pain in the ass. So I think essentially, from my point of view, and a lot of the people I talk to, they want smaller, more miniaturized components that they can move quickly and easily from site to site. Steve, what do you think?
I am always in search for a super low profile, very bright, it's got some guts to it, footlight. I want something that's going to get beyond a few feet and get upstage and just the audience not know it's there until it turns on. So I'm always looking at footlight technology, which leads me to cost. We're a small industry. I recognize that, but boy, it seems like the cost on some of this stuff is so prohibitive. I don't know how they're going to get the costs down, given there's not a large market for entertainment lighting. But some great footlight, and let's get it down to under $1,000 for a couple feet. It's got to be less expensive than they're charging now. David, what are you looking for?
I can't believe you're actually asking. You know what I'm looking for.
I was just going to say, he's still waiting for that lighting console.
A margarita to go machine?
That's number 2, by the way. I've got a list here. I have made a list. The first one is an AI light board, okay? I am sorry. And I've been yelling about this for years. At least a board that takes voice commands.
What did Renee say? Last week, Renee said you want the Alexa lighting
console.
Alexa
lighting console. I think he was joking, but that's exactly what I want, okay? I want one that just takes voice commands. Take fixture 23. Focus it at +5, left 17. Sharp. Zoom it out about 30 degrees. That's it. Record this as Q1. Why is this difficult? We've had programmers on our show who say that the technology is already here. It's obvious it's here. We got Alexa, we've got that. We've got all this stuff. It's here. Just do it. Someone do it. So that's the first thing I would like to see. The second thing is duct tape that is not duct tape. Okay, I'm tired of duct tape. Duct tape drives me crazy. It's sticky. It's hard to cut. It leaves a molasses type of residue wherever you use it on. And I use it on a lot of things. Okay,
but it was perfect on the Navy duck boat in World War II.
It was great in World War II, but that was in the 1940s, okay? We're in 2025. We need to come up with some duct tape, something that's like easier to use and doesn't leave a residue. Okay, in support of what Dennis said, an inexpensive moving light that has a decent variable diffusion filter. This is what Dennis was talking about.
Yes.
Diffusion, good diffusion filter, not like one of 3, like, little diffusion, medium diffusion, a lot of diffusion. No, something that has variable diffusion. That is really super important because I'm tired of using these cheap moving lights that don't give you that variable diffusion.
Cheap?
I would love to have it. Yeah, cheap. Cheaper. It's a relative. It's all about contrast, Dennis. You've got the $16,000 giant turkey, and then you've got the $4,000 piece of shit. Okay? That's cheaper. Okay? So, anyway, that's why I say cheap. All right? The $4,000 is a lot of money for a lot of theater companies. So stop cheaping out on these lights. Give us one with a good diffusion filter. And some other ideas that we've thought about for the past 10 years. We've talked about it on the show. Drone focus deluxe. Who needs lighting positions anymore? You don't need lighting positions. You got drones. Why do you need all these lighting fixtures? You have drones carrying a lighting fixture. You don't need any lighting positions. I mean, it's changed theater totally. You need a lighting position? Have the drone fly over there. That's where the position is. It's done. Okay. It's going to happen. It's just not happening now because we're going to have robots in our house very soon. And then those robots are going to go crazy and they're going to kill us all eventually. So
we're going to have to land this plane. You're all wound up there.
Finally.
Boy, oh boy.
It's like Uncle Bob at Thanksgiving dinner.
Jesus,
Time for a
walk. What do
walk.
you think he and Snoot were up to before the show today? I mean, Steve, wow, he is wound
Snoot's
up.
working today. I'm home alone. Who knows what's going to happen in this house in the next few hours? Okay, and then finally, to put a cap on it, the margarita to go machine. We're still waiting on that for our tech tables. Okay, margarita to go. And, of course, the tech table cone of silence. Remember that?
Well, you need that because you need to mask the noise from the margarita to go machine.
That's right.
If we can get that thing silent, they would sell like hotcakes.
All right. Well, we're going to find out tomorrow how many of our wishes will come true. And let me tell you something. I'm not holding my breath. That's for damn sure. People are starting to invite me to the parties again, and they're going to find out why they stopped inviting me to the parties.
With that, I have the final question of the day.
Thank God.
And it is anonymous in Dixie. I just got signed up for the IRTA interviews in January. I've gotten a couple emails from schools that seem annoyed that I have not listed my references. Is this normal, or did I miss something? Okay, so there's two possibilities here. Possibility number one, you are really clever, and by refusing to tell them who your references are, you're forcing the recruiters to call you so you can now start scouting their schools because they know they're interested in you. I doubt you're that clever. The problem with not listing your references is when you get a resume and you're interested in a student, you want to act on it. You want to just get involved and Okay, I'm going to call the references. I'm going to find out about this young man or this young lady. If I have to call you to get your references or email you, that may delay my whole process by a week because you're busy doing a show, then I'm busy doing a show, we're playing phone tag. So it's not too late to update your resume on the IRTA website and put your references in there. Just be sure to let your references know you have them listed and they're expecting phone calls from different schools about your career. What do you guys, list references for a college application or don't list your references for a college application?
List them. Absolutely. Why not?
I would think so.
Yeah, you have nothing to lose. Nothing to lose.
You could list them and you don't have to put any contact information, but here are my references. Because that's one of the first things I look at, to tell you the truth.
And I can track them down. Once I know who they are, I can track them down without bothering you. But if I need to, then yeah, I'll definitely call you.
I think on any interview, regardless of whether it's IRTA or not. I mean, when designers send me resumes for interest in working at Lighting Design Group, I always double check for references.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yep. Makes sense.
So guys, tomorrow, it's the big show. Steve and I, we've done this for many years. Dennis, this is your first time. You're the rookie.
I know. I mean, I'm so excited. And I'm sorry, Ellen, that you're going to hear this, but I would probably not be going to LDI again this year if I wasn't part of Light Talk. So thank you for inviting me.
Steve, do you remember the first time we did it? Were you nervous?
Of course I was, because you don't want to look like an idiot in front of people you know you, and you certainly don't want to look like an idiot in front of people who haven't formed an opinion of you yet. But yeah, I was nervous, absolutely.
Yeah, I was a little nervous too.
I was nervous up at ETC with Fred Foster.
Oh, yeah. I actually zoomed in for that one. Because I was doing a show at the time. But yeah, I'd see that was very nervous because that was a worldwide thing going on there. That was crazy. But yeah, it's really exciting. I wasn't that I was nervous. It was more because it was just unusual. I had never done a live podcast before in front of an audience. And I know Stan was talking about how nervous he was. I said, oh, you're going to be great. And he was. So don't worry about it, Dennis. It's you're amongst friends, okay?
Okay.
And the people in the room really want to be there.
They want to be there, right? Exactly. They're not going to throw anything at us, so don't worry about it.
If there's one thing I'm not concerned about, it's making a fool of myself. I do that on a daily basis.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, the rocking sounds of the Luminoids tell us that once again you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show at just about every podcast site out there. Check out our website at lighttalk.org. And be sure to follow us on Facebook. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
if you do decide to litigate, you will have to deal with me, Snoot from the Snoot Group. And don't get it twisted. Just because I married one of these losers does not mean I will go easy on you. So don't fuck with me.
Light Talk is written and produced by the Lumen Brothers and our absent sister. Today, broadcasting to you from the beautiful Belmont Shore neighborhood of Long Beach, California, the Lone Star State, home to Taylor Sheridan's exceptional series Landman, and the entertainment capital of the world, New York City.
Be sure to join us next week when we dive into more lighting shenanigans and serve up a fresh, piping hot casserole of nonsense.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world and beyond.
So we'll see you all tomorrow afternoon, 12:30, podcast studio, LDI. Bye-bye from Light Talk.
Bye all.
Toodles.